Good to see everybody here. Thank you. Thank you. Happy Modelo Friday. Modelo Friday. I will reward myself with a bucket of Modelos today. All right. So, Clay, you got those chip bites.
Yeah.
What were they again?
Chip on the running back room.
Running backs, okay.
And too many snaps for Ash and Jetty can be bad.
Too many, okay. Cool. All right, we want to know where everybody's from today. Yeah, well, look, Mariota's going to play. You got to beat Mariota. That's it. You got to beat Mariota. Okay? That's it. And their rookie running back, who's having a great start to the season. A great start. All right, it's Friday. I hope everybody has a good weekend. We got an early start on the pregame show for the Raiders on Sunday. Bishop Gorman Modern Day tonight. Wow, what a game. Ray Brewer will join me in hour number 2 to break that down. Upland.
Best way to do it is to sign up today for a new William Hill Nevada mobile sports account.
All right, I'm just going to let it rip here in the monologue. If anybody wants to get in, we appreciate that. I'm going to let it fly like I like to do.
Cash out and live in-play wagering on all major sports. More information, official rules, and to see participating sign-up location, visit williamhill.us. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Gambler's bonus hits again on second.
Also, we want picks. If you got some picks, we can do that. Good afternoon, Fabian. Yep, my son Jason. We got Clay working with me today, which is really a nice pleasure to be with Clay for a couple days this week, and weekend should be great.
Las Vegas. It's Max Crosby, the Las Vegas Raiders, and you're listening to JT the Brick on Raider Nation Radio. It's the JT the Brick Show. If you're in the relentless pursuit of finding the competitive edge to everything you're doing, you got to be hard. I expect to learn that market field. I don't care what we're doing. Everything you do. Expecting to win. Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years. It's just going to be a battle. It's going to be physical. It's going to be old school football. Yes, sir. As a great man once said, just win, baby. And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT with you as we are getting out the pre-show tweet. Because you got to remind everybody when you're on the radio and we're live on YouTube with the stream. Been talking to the bricklayers, as we call them. I am the Bricktator, and those are the bricklayers. They're there for me. They're there first, minutes before the show starts. Please subscribe for free on YouTube at JT the Brick YT, on Instagram at JT the Brick LV, and we're on X, where you can get right into the show at JT the Brick. My conversation every week with Pete Carroll will be Friday at 1 o'clock. So that comes up. You probably heard it before if you're on Raiders.com, but we have it here exclusively for our radio audience on Friday. Ray Brewer will join us later on. He's the high school football icon, amongst other things in Vegas. He will preview Bishop Gorman Modern Day, Clash of the Titans, the two best high school football teams in the world, not in America, in the world, are going to go toe-to-toe. And Gorman, they don't beat Modern Day. So this is going to be big for Vegas here. We'll preview that game, and then we'll hear from everybody else as we kick off the show. What I've been doing for years, but especially resetting it this year, is it's a roll call Friday. We want to hear from Raider fans from all over. So when you call in, let us know where you're calling from. I want to hear from Raider fans overseas. I want to hear from Raider fans in Florida, New Jersey, Chicago, the Pacific Northwest, wherever you are. It's called Raiders Roll Call. Come on in and support this team, especially those in the district in D.C. who are going to the game. Now, the breaking news today, according to the NFL, They put it out. Commanders quarterback Jayden Daniels' knee ruled out for week 3. Marcus Mariota to start versus the Raiders. That's the focus of the monologue, brought to you by PTs. They fuel the monologue. 5 to 7, midnight to 2. The best happy hour in town. Raider friendly, UNLV friendly, Golden Knights friendly. Everything we do in this town starts off at PTs as they get me started every day. All right, what does this mean? Jayden Daniels is out. This is a bleeping lottery ticket. Okay? This is like finding a lottery ticket that's won on the ground and you're turning it in. Period. But you got to turn it in and you got to go somewhere to turn it in. Hopefully along the way, someone doesn't steal the lottery ticket from you, or your car breaks down, or something happens and you can turn it in. This is a great scenario. We don't root for injuries. We want everybody at full strength until they're not at full strength and they're ruled out. Now we talk about Marcus Mariota and what the Raiders get here. If Jayden Daniels was 100% and the Commanders were at full strength, the Raiders would be a touchdown underdog on the road and it would not look good. I hope the Raiders win every game. I want them to win every game. They're not going to win every game. This was one on the schedule where most people did not have the W on their refrigerator magnet where they put the wins and losses there on your refrigerator at home. Not the one you had. You know, if you had the Raiders doing well this year, most people did not have them winning. Now this game is in play because Jayden Daniels is out. Now, if you go around the league and you're playing against Joe Burrow going forward for the next 8 to 10 weeks, that is another bonus. Holy cow, you don't have to play Joe Burrow. If a quarterback goes down, Brock Purdy went down in San Francisco. We'll find out his status, but Mac Jones is a pretty good backup. And Carson Wentz is going to play for Minnesota. As J.J. McCarthy goes down, who knows? That might be better for them in the short term. But there is no scenario on God's green earth that Marcus Mariota can play at a level of Jayden Daniels. Now, I was talking about it with Clay when I came in here and we were putting the show together, that when you look at this scenario, the former regimes, the former coaches here have tripped into a landmine over this scenario. The former regimes couldn't stop Baker Mayfield from going 98 yards. They weren't press. They were press covering. They didn't have safety help over the top for Baker Mayfield. Excuse me. The only thing Baker Mayfield was going to do in that game was throw, and try to win the game, and we didn't have any help on the corner. Oh, boy, how did that happen? I was right there in a suite with the Raiders at that game, and I almost fell out of the suite. Okay, then we lost to Tyson Bagent in Chicago. Josh McDaniels got fired because of that. Jimmy Garoppolo lost the following week to Detroit. Remember that the Detroit game? I think it was Monday Night Football. Yeah, it was Monday Night Football. Josh McDaniels got fired because of the Chicago game. The Detroit game was what we call the nail in the coffin. The coffin was already lowered for Josh McDaniels because Tyson Bagent dominated the Raiders. I mean, it wasn't even close. It was a blowout. Former regime. And then the one that's fresh on the former regime, Antonio Pierce, who's in the news, when we lost to the Red Rocket, the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, and he beat us so badly that it ruined the season. Ruined the season because by losing that game, we went from 3-1 to 2-2 and then lost 10 in a row. If we went to 3-1, we would have been 3-3 and 4-4. And then, you know, you could have found your way to 7-8 wins, whatever. And you know the rest is history. So I told Clay, this is a new regime. Everything that happened with the former coaches is thrown out the window. But I had to mention it. So now you have Pete Carroll. There's no guarantee the Raiders are going to win with Pete Carroll. We can't guarantee anything, but Pete Carroll is more prepared for this because he's a defensive head coach, and they're going to have a game plan for Marcus Mariota. Now, what's Marcus Mariota going to do? I got to meet Marcus a few times. I think we knew each other on a first-name basis. I thought he was a hell of a backup because he won the Heisman Trophy. He's very mobile. He's smart. So that's a good guy you want as a backup quarterback. And now he's a veteran. He's a veteran. So here's what they're going to do in the game. I guarantee it. I'm giving you the game plan right now. Do what you want with it. They're going to run the football because they got a running back that you never heard of who's running better than anybody on the Raiders right now. And they're going to run a rookie, and they're going to try to get him going. So the Raiders have to stop the run, which I think they can do. Number two, they're going to try to get Mariota outside the pocket, running away from Max Crosby. Even if he has to go the opposite side of his arm throw, if he has to run to the left or the right, they will move him away from Max Crosby. They'll try to. That's why it's really important that Max lines up at multiple positions. Max has got to line up on the right and the left. We got to give them a bunch of different looks with Max. Number three, they will have quick, short passes on slants. Please follow me here. I've seen it. They are going to run 3-yard in slants between the corner and the linebacker. Okay? What we need to do to stop that is put our hands up because they're going to be short slants that are 2 to 3 seconds or less than that. The ball's going to come out quickly. He's going to hike it in the shotgun. Boom. And they're going to try to catch their receivers, Terry McLaurin, all their other receivers on slants in between our linebackers who don't cover great. Well, we got good linebackers. Pratt knows how to find the ball. Pratt dropped the pick six that could have got us back into the game. He dropped the pick six. That hurt. I.e. Chris in West Oakland will remind us of that if he hasn't already. And you're going to see our young corners like Caillou Blue Kelly be tested on some go routes, which he's been great with, but the quick slant. And then finally, they're going to have run crossing routes over the middle of the field because they're going to try to go to the weak point. The soft underbelly of the Raiders has been the middle of the field over the linebackers in front of the safeties. You got it? That's the game plan. Go figure it out. I just gave it to you. It's guaranteed the game plan. Short passing games, move Mariota outside the pocket, and they're going to try to find a way to establish the run. And if they're able to establish the run, that's only going to help out Mariota. Because if Mariota can get a bit of a running game, he can do play action. I mean, the guy's a veteran. He can do play action like anybody else. So when I look at the stats of this game, they're just starting to creep in. We're starting to see the Raiders defense, who played well in 2 games, and now we're trying to figure out what the Raiders can do in this game. And in this game, they've got to be really good, and they've got to get off the field. They must get off the field. We cannot have Marcus Mariota eating any clock and staying on the field. That's it. That's the game plan. Do you agree with me? If you don't, if you think something else is going to happen, let me know, 702-365-9200. The show started 10 minutes ago. We're ready to hear from Raider Roll Call. Who's going to be the first? Who's my leadoff hitter? Who's my cleanup hitter? Who runs a booster club? Who's doing business? Let's go. Okay, here's me again on Friday, running through a wall for you. Let's go. On Twitter, you can watch live, and you can watch on YouTube. So that's the defense. Don't tell me the defense can't stop Marcus Mariota. They completely really slowed down Justin Herbert, who's a great player. He's elite. Yes, he is elite. And they did a pretty good job against the Patriots and Drake May, who has more upside than Marcus Mariota. So that's what the defense has to do. Oh, and no penalties. No penalties. I don't want to see holding. On 3rd and 18, I can't see a hold. Automatic first down. Like none of that. You got to play really clean. I think the defense can do it. Now we get to the offense. That's been a problem. But it's only been a problem a week. So, as some people call me, the Raider therapist, I've had to walk several people from walking on the train tracks or walking off the cliffs and bring them back and say it was only one game. It's only one game. Calm down. But we are standing here looking at an offense that has been very limited because the offensive line has not been able to run block yet. Okay. My level of concern with this offensive line run blocking is at a 7. Okay? It's at a 7. My level of concern of Ashton Jeanty running the ball is at a 1. one being nothing. I'm confident Ashton Genty's going to get through this. I'm confident he's going to get through this. I really do. But as I talked about this last night, I did a podcast, a live stream with my podcast partner, Tom Looney, and I got the game on in the background. And I'm watching the game, and the Miami Dolphins, who lost, and this is a really important point I want to make. The Miami Dolphins opened up the game in Buffalo. They got the ball and went downfield and scored. Their offensive line was possessed. That's the word I use. They were possessed. They were putting their hands on people, on the Bills, and throwing them to the ground. They were possessed like animals. We need to be possessed. I've been telling you all week I'm a body language guy. I'm a Lincoln Kennedy body language guy. I need to see someone in warm-ups without his helmet on, really screaming and freaking out and being ready to play. Someone's got to be rolling up and down that sideline, giving fist pumps, putting his helmet on, blowing snot bubbles and saying, follow me. I haven't seen that yet from this O-line. Haven't seen it. You haven't seen it either. We need to see it. I need to see emotion, but no penalties. Ooh, Lincoln also told me years ago, I'm like, Lincoln, why don't they play faster? Why aren't they playing no huddle? And Lincoln said something that always stayed with me. If you're not a good offensive line, you can't play fast because you'll have penalties. I said, you're right. If you're not very good, you can't do unique things like run up tempo because you might jump off sides and do that. I'm not that worried about it. Colt Miller, Dylan Parham, Meredith, hopefully JPJ, DJ Glaze, I think they could hold their ground. The problem with those front five that we have is the snap count is not their advantage. When the ball is snapped, they are not firing. They're not bad at pass protection. I think they're okay. Some of the stats this week showed they're okay, even though it looked to me like Geno was running for his life. You watched the game. I was there. It looked to me like Geno was running for his life. But they're struggling getting the push. Defensive tackles shouldn't be throwing our offensive linemen backwards on running plays. Passing plays, yes. If it's 3rd and 10 and they know we're going to pass and the defensive tackles and ends get a quick start and push our guys back as they're going backwards to planting, pass protect. I get that. I understand that. Not in run blocking. You got to fire off the ball, and you got to fire off the ball big, and you got to be ready to go. So that's going to be really important to me that the Raiders' offensive line shows up. And they show up and they're angry, they're nasty, they're messy in a way of their appearance, and they just look like, remember the old Raiders? You can't do it anymore. Remember the old Raiders used to wrap their arms up, and some had stick them when it was legal, and you could just tell the mustaches, and you just saw the helmets. Remember the helmets were always dinged and had scratches on them? You're like, oh boy, here come the Raiders. Raiders look nasty. Let's get this offensive line to look nasty. Look nasty and act like you're nasty and you belong to be there. Because let me tell you something. If they don't get it done, they're going to move these offensive linemen and bring in new ones, and they're going to bring in the backups to play. Because Pete Carroll loves that. Not with this team per se, but Pete will play young players if you can't get the job done. And then, as I saw, last night you had a lot of good football players playing. You had Josh Allen, Tyreek Hill, who's a really bad guy. Don't be afraid to tell everybody. In the middle of the broadcast, Amazon said that Tyreek Hill is being brought up for domestic violence. And the world went nuts. The internet broke. They said, how dare you? Tyreek Hill should call his attorney, an agent, Drew Rosenhaus, right? They're trying it. No, Tyreek Hill is a really bad guy. He's bad to women. He's always been a bad guy. He's a hell of a player. Hell of a player because they put him in motion. They put him in motion. Okay, I've been hearing about us in motion. We didn't show anything in the preseason. Remember that? We didn't show anything in the preseason. Well, now we got to start showing our stuff. What's our really good stuff? So also yesterday, I caught something that I thought was interesting content. I couldn't find the audio of it. But Dan Orlovsky, who does Monday Night Football, he was at the game. So he called the game with Louis Riddick and Chris Fowler. He put up video. This was remarkable to me. He put up a video of the Chargers defense, and they dropped 6. They dropped 6. So they had 2 safeties, 2 corners. They also had a nickel corner. That's 5. and one of the linebackers were dropped into coverage. Do you know how many the Raiders had in the route? Two. Two guys were in the route. One guy was chipping, a tight end was chipping. The running back was kind of in the backfield. I'm like, oh man, how are we gonna win 2 against 6? Need to rip that up and come out with something different. So what I tweeted out last night, which is getting a lot of run, is this is what I would do. And I'm not the coach, but I do the radio. I would go 4 wide. Follow me here. Here's my 4 wide. My 4 wide would be, out wide would be my speed guys. Follow me. Out wide right is Trey Tucker. Out wide left is Dante Thornton. Stop. Here's why. Those 2 guys can run 4-3. They're on the outside. They bring a corner and a safety over the top. It's 11 on 11. We just put 4 guys on those 2. I would have Brock Bowers lined up in the slot, not a tight end. And then on the inside, on the other side, I'd have Jacoby Myers. Are we good? Those are my 4 guys. I'm not taking them out of the game. Maybe I'll take Brock if Brock's knee is not perfect. Yeah, we'll take Brock out for plays. So I go 4 wide, and then I have Ashton single back set. We don't run a fullback here. And I run every play that way. And here's what else I do. And I run Ashton on tosses on the outside where he can see, and he can cut back. I don't run him into the pile. I'm not running Ashton into the pile and giving up a down unless you can prove to me that this offensive line can run block and they can power and push people. Then Ashton will hit the hole, make Bobby Wagner. He's good, but he's getting older. Make someone miss, and then the next thing you know, we're off to the races. Notice I have no notes, no Post-it notes. This is all off the top of my head. 80% of people in radio can't do this without teleprompter or someone in their ear saying, go next to that. No, this is easy for me. This is easy. I've been watching football and covering it my whole life. The Raiders need to, ready? Spread everybody out. Get everybody out of the box in any way possible. Do not make it easy to keep everybody in the box looking at Ashton. Remember, if you're looking at me on YouTube, there's the linebacker. He's just looking at Ashton. I'm looking at Clay. He's just lined up. He's looking right at Ashton. He's right above the nose tackle, right behind him. And he's just waiting for Ashton to get the ball up the middle. If the defensive tackle nose tackle doesn't get him, Bobby Wagner's going to get him. So we need some aggressive play here. And you're not going to hear me at all say, oh, we're going to win this game. We're going up against Marcus Mariota. This is going to be a cakewalk. No, but it's a nice gift. It's a nice gift. And I don't root for injuries. If you know me, I do not root for injuries, but we got a break. It'd be like playing the Cowboys without Dak Prescott, the Bengals without Joe Burrow. Okay, we're going to play Indy in a couple of weeks, Indianapolis. Daniel Jones is playing like a Pro Bowler. I want to play Daniel Jones. I want to play Daniel Jones. I want Jackson Dart to be the starter for the Giants out here because he's never played a game. Okay, and then I don't think Caleb Williams is going to get benched, but there's a lot going on there. There's a lot going on. This Cowboy-Bears game, I can't wait to watch it. Because if the Bears go to 0-3, how cool is it going to be able to play Marcus Mariota in week 3 and the 0-3 Bears in week 4? I mean, everybody, I can only give you so much of a break. That's a pretty good break. So got to go win this game. You got to win this game. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I just gave you my opinion on what I think is the best way to do it. And you got to play with the lead. We got to get Geno going early. I would think one last thing I didn't get into the monologue is I think that Geno, they're not going to make it complicated for Geno. He looked spooked in that last game. He did not look right? He didn't play well. So I would assume that Chip is going to dial in some easy Brock Bauer passes early, a couple of pitch and catch to Jacoby. I'm not a big fan of that line of scrimmage sideline pass, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see some of that. And then take a deep shot to Trey Tucker early because Geno hit on it. Remember, he hit on it with the Patriots? Let Geno know that you have confidence in him to throw a deep ball. And if Trey's not open, throw it away. Throw it away. So I'm excited, as you can tell. Open lines, I should never have one. 702-365-9200. Thor in Summerlin. Thor, I got a window to get a cigar today. And you just had a birthday, so we should get a birthday cigar and a cerveza because it's Modelo Friday, Thor.
Yes, sir, JT. I'm ready for a Modelo Friday and a stick, my brother. And let's talk about how we're going to win this game. Honestly, run the ball, 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 run the ball some more. I don't care if we run the ball 40 times. I want to see, like you said, this O-line needs to get an attitude. It needs to get nasty. I don't understand how you are not getting a push on a run play, even a little bit. Like, the snap count, they don't. What is going on here? They have to figure that out because if we can run the ball the way the D is playing, we can stay in every game. You know what? The more you run the ball, your defense fresh. To me, it's what we have to do. Like all the cute passing numbers and all that. Go back to smash mouth football. Go back to smash mouth football. Bring it back old school, and that's how I believe. And then get back on track. It lost hurt. It really did, but it was not that bad. Like I'm excited because we should have got blown out that game with the 3 picks, but the D kept us in the game enough to I feel usually I gotta look at the positive.
Yeah, why not?
If you can win this game and win even if we come out. I remember Seattle was like 2-4 and won the Super Bowl. So I'm not saying we're winning the Super Bowl, but you're not out of the season after the second game. So get it together, Raider Nation. Get back on this positive. Let's turn it around, baby.
Thank you, Thor.
JT, man, hit me up. Let me know what's up later for something.
You got it, Thor. No doubt. Appreciate it. Thanks for starting me off. Anybody else out there or just me and Thor today? I mean, we are not where we need to be on a Friday. I should not even mention that, Clay. I should just do 2 hours of just interviewing people. I'm ready to talk to the Raider Nation on a Modelo Friday. Let's go. Again, we're a aggressive radio show. We need aggressive people other than me. We need aggressive people on this time slot. 702-365-9200. You run the ball a lot, like Thor wants to run it like 40 times. The only problem is if you run it a lot, you shorten the game. And if you don't run it well, you give the other team an opportunity to score. And now you got to get out of the running game. Remember the reason why, and listen to what Chip Kelly said. When it comes to Ashton, here's Chip Kelly. I mean, you got to be careful with this running game with Ashton and how many carries you're going to give him early in the season.
But you're trying to spread out the amount of snaps in a game. If you have 3 running backs up and one guy's playing 55 and another guy's playing 3 and another 2, over the course of the season, that guy's going to get worn down. And by the time you get where's our back? Well, we ran him out by game 8. So, I think you have to look long term. Last year, actually, when at Ohio State, we had 2 great backs, Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, and both of them ended up rushing in a 16-game season because we played in the playoffs through. They were both 1,000-yard rushers, but neither of them ever had 20 carries in a game. Over the course of the season, we knew from the beginning of the season to the end of the season that we need to protect these guys, and that if you could have seriously said, hey, let's give it to Travion 30 times in this game, and he would have had a hell of a game and done some other things. But what are the long-term effects of that, too? So I think you kind of have your eye on the game that you're in right then. And we have total confidence in both Zeus and Dylan when they get in a game that they're going to do things with the ball, and they both did good things when they get their opportunities, too.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of Dylan Lobby. Also, people are saying, we got to get Dylan Lobby in there. I'm okay with that. I think that Dylan Lobby, you want to hear from him on a swing pass, a screen pass. And the Raiders, I think, I was hearing Vinny and Clay, you were talking about it today. I think a caller called in and was asking about the screens and what Lincoln thought and all that. I was listening to your show today. The screen pass is very valuable when you have aggressive defenses attacking Geno and either blitzing Geno or stuffing the box. That screen pass can really open it up for a big play.
Yeah, and they were wondering if they were working on that during the summer, defending against the screen pass. And there were many instances of that. And that's something that you'd like to see going down a little further. It also takes an offensive line that's on the same page.
It takes an offensive line on the same page. No doubt about that. That's the monologue. When we come back, it's more of me ranting and raving and talking about the game plan and how we win this game. Every game's very important. Okay, every game is very important. This one's very unique. Games are all important. Why is this one unique? Because one of the best players in all of football is not playing for the other team, Jayden Daniels. So the Raiders get that break, and they better take advantage of it. They have to. We're brought to you by the 872 laborers led by Tommy White, building this entire city on time and on budget. The 872 laborers, proud partner of the show. Ray Brewer next hour. And at the top of the hour on Fridays, almost every time at the top of the hour, my exclusive interview with head coach Pete Carroll. Vince Sapienza. That was fun. That was a good one. Marcus Mariota. Big D. Is anybody worried about Marcus Mariota? He comes from the islands of Hawaii. You and I like Hawaii.
Yeah, man. At 7 a.m. on Richard Nation Radio, 920 a.m.
Yes.
The Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
All right, we got 646 in here. That's a nice number.
All these
AM.
from all these
Thank you, Gorman.
Yeah.
Wesley Financial.
Yeah.
Not allowed for
Shout out to all my blue-collar brothers and sisters from Alex. Scott says, yes, Raiders. Sometimes invest. What do you say here? Scott says, yes, Raiders sometimes have had issues against backups. Yeah, but that's the former coaches. That's not Pete. Pete Carroll hasn't had really bad instances with backups, right? Grab my
You have on your hands. Don't get sandwich at your favorite place on Sundays. Well, I got the solution. Silver Sevens Hotel and Casino has your Sunday sandwich fix.
Okay, let's look at some of my notes.
Just $10. Yep, just $10. But it's only on Sundays. So you go there.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Commanders' stats. They're really weird, man. It's a really weird team because Jayden Daniels is hurt, and he got hurt in that game. And they just don't look. Their running back, Ja'Cory Prosky Merritt.
He goes by the name Bill.
14 carries, 99 yards, 7.1 a carry.
He's a handful.
Yeah. 7th round out of Washington. Now, where did he play? Follow him. Arizona, Arizona. Yeah, so he's their leading rusher, and the leading receiver. Leading receiver is Debo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Oh.
After one of those tight ends, that could be a problem.
Hey, Chuck.
So this sounds weird, but I don't get care because we have clients here. Earlier today, our newest client called Tomorrow for Men, they do everything. You can get everything from a facial to hair restorations, whatever you want. I went there today. They put me in a chair and gave me this Ultra Ray facial, all these creams. I sat there. I fell asleep. It was so relaxing. I woke up. Man, it was one of the coolest things I've ever done. So it was a male place, not for women, men. And you go in, you chill, you hang out in these big chairs. You can get massages. You can do whatever you want. If you're into weight loss or whatever, I was very impressed. So I think they're going to jump on board and be a partner of ours. So that was cool today. Jack Best needs to get going. Yeah.
Okay, we're back here. Coming back to the Gino Grande.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by PT's, the best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
Gino, eyeing the pressure, looking downfield, has to back out. There's a man behind him. He escapes the pocket. He's going to take off across the 30. Gino inside 25. Carrying 10-yard line. Gino 16. 3rd and 1 on a scramble.
After the second game, so get it together right away. Get back on this positive is coming around, baby.
Yes, Raider Nation. You know there's only one whiskey fit for the black hole. It's Charles Woodson's Woodson Bourbon Whiskey, the official bourbon whiskey of the black hole. And your Las Vegas Raiders, the limited edition black hole bottle is out now at woodsonwhiskey.com. Don't wait. These bottles will end up being sold out. They put in a special promotion for me. In the checkout, JT the Brick, you get 15% off. That's pretty cool. Woodson Bourbon Whiskey. Put my name in for 15% off if it wasn't your game day whiskey. It is now. Please celebrate responsibly. So we're going up against Marcus Mariota. That's the show. Okay? I'm going to play my Pete Carroll interview at the top of the hour. We were not aware of this. So when Coach and I sat down on Tuesday, we knew that Jayden Daniels might not play, but it wasn't locked in. So now it's locked in. And I think Raider fans have respect for Marcus Mariota. I really do. I think Raider fans definitely have respect for him. I respect everybody. If you're an NFL quarterback, if you're a backup like Mike White, Carson Wentz, who's playing, Tyrod Taylor, do you believe Derek Carr's not starting in this league and he's not a backup? What's that all about? I mean, if Derek is watching, Derek should be the starting quarterback for the Bengals right now. Right now. Right now. Derek Carr should be the Bengals starting quarterback. Period. He's too good to be retired. He's too young to be retired. Carson Wentz is playing in this league and Marcus Mariota is and Derek Carr isn't. I'm happy we're not facing Derek Carr. He's a better player than Marcus Mariota, but Marcus Mariota's good and solid because he knows their playbook. He's not one of these backups that are getting brought in. He's not getting brought in at the last second. Hey, we need an emergency quarterback. Get in. No, Marcus Mariota's been in that program. He knows what he's doing. He was the backup for Kirk Cousins in Atlanta. He got to play. He is a decent player, but he's not. And plus, Chip Kelly knows him really well, and he knows Chip Kelly. I'm sure Marcus is giving some opinions to the coaching staff, and Dan Quinn knows. We're going to get into that with Coach Carroll. Dan Quinn knows clearly what Pete Carroll's about. That's his mentor. So I think this is going to be a pretty cool chess match. Tom in Wisconsin on NFL Raider Roll Call. Whereabouts in Wisconsin, Tom?
Racine, Wisconsin.
Thank you. Appreciate you calling in. Go ahead.
Here against the Broncos, got a chance to beat you pre-game. Wife and I came out and got married out there.
Yeah.
That was nice. As far as the game goes, that offensive line needs to move people whichever way they want to move them. I got to have Gino having time to pass the ball. I don't think he had a bad game on Monday night, as bad as everybody's saying. So I need that offense. I don't care if we run 50 times, pass 50 times. Give somebody a lane to run in and give somebody time to pass.
Yeah, and look, you're talking about pass protection. I'm okay with that. I don't have a lot of criticism of that. I have a lot of criticism so far with the run blocking. I haven't seen the dominant push, and I hope it can happen in this game. I hope this is the game where the offensive line really has a big game opening up holes for Ashton Genty.
Yeah, and the defense for once in a long time, not worried about that. Chase Mariota all over that field and put him down.
Yeah.
That's all I got you.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Good to talk to you again. I would assume, I heard, Max has got to have a good game. Max has had 2 good games, but they're not stat-driven. He's been what he's been, a game wrecker. He's the type of guy that's in the backfield. He's getting close. And Marcus Mariota is the type of guy that can run into Max, literally try to run out of trouble. And Max just keeps his motor going. He'll track him down. I think he'll track him down and get to him. So Max, this is a game for Max to have an NFL 2025 coming out party. Like where Max is leading Sports Center and Max is, doing a salute in the nation's capital and he's pointing to the upper deck and Max is like the guy. We need that to happen here. I think we got a lot of breaks here, Clay. This could have been a cold weather game. They could have parked this in November, December there.
Yeah, like Philadelphia is going to be wretched.
Yeah, Philadelphia is a cold weather game, right? If you look at the NFC East, we don't have the Giants at the Meadowlands. We get the Giants here. And if you look at the other cold weather game opportunities, there really aren't any. So we don't have to play in Buffalo. Looking around, the Raiders' schedule does not, and the first game, the Patriot game, should have been the best weather, and it was raining. So I don't know what the weather is going to be like in D.C. I should check on that, but I think they'll be ready to go. I think the weather will be fine. I think they're going to travel and get out there a day early, right? That's the new regime. Pete wants to get out there early. So leaving today and being out there and getting ready to play, I think is fantastic. No one should be concerned about the travel with Pete Carroll. He's not going to win every game going east, but no one should be concerned about it and be like, wow, is this an issue? Is this a problem? No. Pete Carroll's running the thing. They got great trainers, a great staff. They know how to travel. Snow Raider in beautiful Lake Tahoe today. Is it a summer day out there?
Hey, thanks, Clay. Thanks, JT. No, we got overcast and cloudy in the 50s today. We're getting that storm system that you guys just got with the rain blowing up our way. I agree with the fire caller Tom in Racine, Wisconsin. The O-line needs to get going. The Commanders are 14th in rush defense. They give up about 104 yards a game. We've got Genty, we've got Mostert, and we got Zeus. Also, RG3 was talking the other day. He says the Commanders, they give up the middle of the field as well, so we could exploit that. I got my buddy Brian and his daughter driving out from Philly to go to the game and represent Raider Nation. And shout out to all my bricklayers. We got to win this one. This is a can't-lose game. Let's go Raiders.
Thank you, Snow Raider, who watches the show live on YouTube. He's in the chat. He's always contributing, and his phone works. He knows how to watch the chat on YouTube and call. Like me when I talk, and I don't chew gum and talk at the same time, but doing multiple things at once. Weather in D.C. on Sunday, 73 degrees, 25% chance of rain. No problem. No problem. Run the plays that you run in Henderson. As I'm looking through stats, individual stats for the first two games, so their running back, who's averaging 7.1 yards a carry, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, 7th rounder out of Arizona, has got a total of 99 yards for 2 games, but he's averaging 7.1 yards a carry. They're going to want to give him the ball. And then their receivers, Deebo Samuel, who's got already 121 yards, very similar stats to Jacoby Myers. He's got a touchdown. Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz has 9 receptions and 2 touchdowns already. I forgot to get to that. My bad. Let me do a do-over. We got to guard Zach Ertz. Right? Remember me all the time? We don't hit Kelsey. What does JT always say? We got to hit the tight end at the line of scrimmage. This guy's pretty good. This guy's pretty good if he's able to get off the ball. So we got to make sure that we're able to get him there, get him going. And I like the fact that the Raiders, maybe in this game, last game we got the ball first, and what happened? First play interception. We're down 3-0. Should have been 7-0. They got the ball on the first play. They could have scored easily, but there was a good stand there to make them kick a field goal, and it was 3-0. I'd like to defer in this game. I'd like to get our defense out there first. I hope the Raiders win the toss and defer, not because I'm afraid to put Geno out there, not at all, because I want to let Max set the tone. I want Max to set the tone and come out there and be ready to roll. Really ready to roll, like big-time Max Crosby stuff. 702-365-9200 is the number. Just wanted to mention Clayton Kershaw is going to get his final start. Everybody's talking about that. Great player. Unbelievable player, future Hall of Famer. Dave Roberts is now getting some heat because they don't know how to handle Ohtani in the rotation. Man, are we getting soft. I'm driving in, listening to the radio, and I heard someone wondering, when are we going to pitch Ohtani? We going to pitch him in the bullpen? We going to let him be middle relief? Oh, my God, I almost drove off the road. Could you imagine having Shohei Ohtani? Imagine having him on your team and being afraid to pitch him. Guy had a no-hitter the other night in the 5th inning, and they took him out in the 6th. No-hitter. And now I'm hearing guys on the radio questioning what you do. How about you put him in the game to start and you don't touch him until the 8th inning? I could do that. I could fake and put on a Dodger manager uniform and say, Shohei, you're going to pitch 8 innings and we're not going to touch you. Can you do that? You go, yeah, I'm fine. That's what I think they should do. But the Dodgers all year long have been bad. They've been a bad team this year, man. There's nothing good about the Dodgers this year. They have underachieved for that payroll. If they're able to flip the switch and win the World Series after this garbage regular season, I mean, the Padres should be up by 8 or 9 games, considering what the Dodgers have done this year. But the Dodgers are getting healthier, and they got the payroll coming forward. There's a lot of news in the NFL. The lead story at ESPN.com, Jayden Daniels out. Marcus Mariota to start against Las Vegas. It's the lead story on ESPN, and we're the Raider flagship. So we want to hear from you at 702-365-9200. So that's where we're at. We're brought to you by Modelo. It's a Modelo Friday, the official cerveza of the Raiders and the official beer of fans with a fighting spirit. I have a bucket of Modelo's on Friday to celebrate the week and get us ready for the Raiders' upcoming game. Modelo, proud partner of the show. Pete Carroll at the top of the hour, and then Ray Brewer, my buddy Brew Crew. Man, he knows high school football cold, inside and out. Bishop Gorman, modern day. A massive game. The biggest high school football game in the country is in Vegas tonight. We'll get into that in a little bit.
We're talking to Mike Pritchard. Trying to build they quietly are talking to themselves about that in terms of we want to surprise and shock the world here this year. We don't care what you're going to line up in. We don't care how many people you have at the line of scrimmage. We're going to move you, and we're going to run the football. That will feed to the fellow.
Mike Pritchard was on. Was he on with you guys?
Yeah.
When was that?
Last Friday.
Okay.
Ranger Nation Radio, 920 AM.
We are a full go on football betting. The best way to do it is to sign up today for a new William Hill Nevada mobile sports account, and you can earn up to a $250 bonus bet after placing your first qualifying wager with the William Hill Nevada mobile sports app. You'll never miss another bet. William Hill has the largest wagering menu, and the app features same-game parlays, early cash out, and
Let's spend some time in the chat. Michael, as a San Francisco Giant fan, I fully support your message about the nasty, stinking Dodgers. Dodgers are great. They beat my Yankees, but they don't look that great.
Time.
Big D saying modern day has been struggling. Gorman for the win.
Venture doesn't define success. Goodbye, false quick buck promises. We've had enough. Welcome to Sam and Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way.
I'm talking to my son, who's helping produce the YouTube.
Authenticity. Champions for the underdog. Life happens. When you need help, you deserve a team without hidden agendas. A team that delivers real support and results. You have both. Your whole world can change.
Just win, baby. Snow Raider, thanks for the call. Appreciate that. Mariota panics in the pocket. Yeah, he could. I don't know how much they're going to give to Mariota.
There's a new way to get to the game. M-Ride it. M-Ride is the luxury concierge shuttle service. It's the same bus the players use, so you can ride like a pro. M-Ride will take you round trip from certain.
Then this one. How about this one from Big D, Clay? Raiders 22 straight games scoring under 30, and 18 of the last 22 scoring 20 or less. Ooh.
They do. We're due backwards.
Yeah, well, they're due. They're due. I hope Brock plays better. I hope Brock is okay, working through the knee.
Mariota can turn the ball over.
Yeah, he can.
He's always free.
Yeah.
Turnover.
Live fans rock the stage every Friday and Saturday. And Monday nights, that's it for football. My radio show, Unnecessary Roughness, starting at 2 o'clock. Silver Sevens Hotel and Casino. It's your number one spot for free things to do. Plus free parking. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, it's JT. Grimaldi's is hands down my favorite pizza in Vegas. Only at Grimaldi's can you get their famous New York style coal fire brick oven pizza. Grimaldi's has 4 locations in the Vegas Valley, or check them out online at
Can you see what the rejoin says, like when you do that with stuff? Does it say, can you say to Castaverde, if you see that there to 1?
September 3rd through September 25th, your Aviators
Back to the JT the Brick Show. Brought to you by the Black Hole.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Championship on September 27th. Here in Los Angeles. Your tickets today at Aviators.com. Championships are just better at Las Vegas Ballpark. Plumbers, HVAC techs, contractors, and TI wires. Dale Industrial Hardware has the tools, parts, and supplies to power your next project. Open early and stocked with everything you need. Stop by South Decatur near Russell. Dale Industrial Hardware. Fast, easy, and built for the pros. Football is here at the Golden Circle Sports Bar inside Treasure Island Hotel and Casino. The best place to watch games on the strip.
All right, everybody, we're back here.
55 plus screens around the bar.
You see my link up here for our new podcast with Rod Woodson, Laying the Wood. So wherever you can get that on Spotify or YouTube, please check it out.
Brick Show. Brought to you by the Black Hole. Become a member of football's most notorious fans.
They have thrown the ball 6 times over the hole. 1 They're passing again on first down. Herbert's hopping in the pocket. Laulu from behind, pushing them back into the pocket, and Laulu has a sack of a loss of 3.
Laulu with 3 sacks this year. How about that? 3. That's a nice number. JT, back with you. We're brought to you by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, proud partner of the show. Raising Cane's uses premium chicken breast tenderloin made from the most tender chicken fingers possible. The sauce is made in store every day. That's critical. In store every day. You know, when you get the cane sauce, it's going to be fresh, made that day. And the crinkle cut fries. You know, some of these fast food places have terrible fries, not a Cane's. Very good there. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love as we continue on. Raider Dave out in Denver, where fortunately the Broncos aren't 2-0. And the Raiders have Kansas City at 0-2, Dave. A win against the Commanders could do wonders for this franchise.
Well, you got that right. And, you know, it's a huge point about when you said the weather is good and the Raiders ended up getting this draw to be a decent East Coast game where it's not deep in the winter. You and I both know that sometimes it's not who you play, but when you play them. And, you know, we don't want to get too high because we do remember a certain Miami quarterback that came into the Raiders Allegiant Stadium and put one over on him with a wild face mask throw at the end of the game. We also saw the thing from your guy, Baker Mayfield, when he ended up with the Rams. So it can happen. There's no doubt about it. But, you know, there's got to be a little bit of trepidation and unsureness for Washington as they go to move to a backup quarterback that is not a starting quarterback in the rest of the league. And Geno Smith is. There is no reason for Geno Smith to not outplay, you know, Marcus Mariota here in this game. There is no way Geno's going to have 2 games in a row like what he had last week. So I said earlier, and I'll repeat it, I thought the Raiders would be 2-1 after the first 3. You are what your schedule, you are what your record says you are, but there was no way I thought the Raiders were going to lose 2 games out of the first 3. And I'm really excited here about seeing the defense come up strong. I love the fact that you said bring them out first, let Max set the tone. And, man, this would be so sweet to have a 26-24 victory with, you know, the Washington trying to come back and get into an area where they need to kick a field goal. And one of our defensive backs makes a play on the ground to get for a 6 to the house and kick us into 30 points plus. How's that?
That's a great call, Dave. Good to hear from you. Thank you. Thank you. Snow Raider, Raider Dave, Thor, some of the regulars coming in, new callers, welcome anywhere. Friday is Raiders roll call. So you notice you heard from Denver. You heard from Summerlin. Where else did we hear from? We're hearing from all over the country, Wisconsin today. So wherever you're a Raider fan, like to hear from some East Coasters. Anybody going to the game, let me know at 702-365-9200 if you're going to the game. I would appreciate it. I was supposed to go to the Ryder Cup next week. I canceled it, too close to get there and get back, and that's a big bummer for me because the Ryder Cup is being played in my hometown, like in my hometown, not outside my hometown, right where I was born and raised. And that's the biggest event in sports next week. But next week, got a whole bunch of concerts in town, and the Bears are in town. And Clay, you and I were talking about the Bears crowd.
Yeah.
They'll be here. I mean, look, they came, they were here big last time. Chicago fans will travel, but people got to understand this. These aren't Chicago Bears fans. These are Arizona Chicago Bears fans. If you go to the state of Arizona, you go to Scottsdale, Phoenix, Tempe, people retire from Illinois to Arizona. I know this because my in-laws are from Illinois. They actually retired and have a place in Florida, but I know how many Chicagoans live in Arizona. Those are the fans who are coming to Vegas. And if you don't sell your tickets to them, no big deal. But if you put your tickets up on some website, the Bears fans are going to tackle it and take the tickets down. And we had a nice crowd against the Chargers. I only saw a couple of powder puff jerseys that were there. Just a few. I didn't see a lot. A couple other stats on this rivalry. They only played once in the postseason. You know the score. The Raiders played Washington once in the postseason, 38-9 in Super Bowl 18 in 1983. The Raiders hold a 4-3 record against the Commanders on the road. And this is our first trip to Washington since 2017. Wow. It's 2025. And this is the one that I don't like. Las Vegas is currently on a 4-game losing streak against Washington. The last time the Raiders beat the Commanders, 2005. Now, remember, we hadn't won in Foxborough in 31 years. 31. And we haven't won there in a long time. So let's break the streaks. Let's have Pete break the streaks here. Greg in Vegas. How are you, Greg?
How you doing, JT? First time. Good to hear from you, brother.
Hey, stay on hold. Stay on hold when you're done with Clay. We're going to get you a $50 Grimaldi's gift card for calling in from Vegas. So stay on hold afterwards. We'll get your information. What's on your mind?
Yeah, just you said the call if you're going. I'm going. My daughter actually surprised me with the tickets for leaving out tomorrow morning and going to Washington, D.C.
Good. You're going to visit the sites, the monuments. You're going to cruise around, get a little education time in, or you're just going to go have a good time?
And we're gonna try and do some stuff. Absolutely.
Good. Excellent.
It just gives you a heads up. I'm from the neighbors.
Wow. I sat with Tommy White for the last game for a little bit, and I'll tell him you said that. I greatly appreciate that.
Right. Good to hear from you.
All right. Yeah, that's just a guy. I'm a travel agent. He just says I'm going. No big. Give him a $50 Grimaldi gift card if he's on hold. Jordan Schultz reporting the Commanders intend to shake up their offensive line on Sunday versus the Raiders, with Andrew Wiley set to start at right guard. Washington has dealt with heavy pressure off the right side in 2 games, and Wiley, who has 88 career starts, is expected to step in to help stabilize things. Okay. Thanks to Jordan Schultz for that information. Fantastic. All right. When we come back on the other side, my weekly interview with Pete Carroll. So that comes up every Friday at 1, unless there's breaking news and we can move it around a little bit. We can move it around a little bit and go from there. All right. Pete Carroll and Ray Brewer on the Bishop Gorman Modern Day game. I'll keep it here for the bricklayers for about 20 more minutes, so jump on board if you'd like to. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. We're building a really nice audience here on YouTube at JT the Brick YT. It's free. It'll take you 30 seconds to subscribe, and then you'll get everything that we're doing here. Hour number 2 coming up next, brought to you by La Casa at Tivoli Village.
Noon, Michigan at Nebraska, Sunday at 5. Chiefs at Giants, both
on Raider Nation Radio, 920.
Right, everybody. I don't need a cigarette, but I'm going to take a water break. I went a whole hour without any water. That's not good. It's not good. It's not good. Let me get a water and I'll be right back. All right, Clay, good job. We're going to come out. I'm going to talk for about 5 minutes. We're going to meet Carroll, and then we're going to come right out of meet Carroll and call Ray Brewer.
Okay. All right.
Ray Brewer to the bottom of the hour.
All right.
Have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly. When you need legal advice, you need the brothers. You need the DeCastroverde Law Firm. This is JT. They're my attorneys, and they should be yours too. For personal injuries and accidents, reach out to the DeCastroverde Law Firm. Let their family fight for yours. Hey, Rebels, it's tailgate time. Whether you root for the Rebels or just there for the tailgate vibes, fuel your crew with fields of hand battered, cooked to order chicken fingers, crispy crinkle cut fries, that buttery Texas toast, and the MVP of every bite. Cane sauce. Don't forget the jugs of freshly brewed tea and fresh squeezed lemonade to keep your squad refreshed. Big plays, big flavor. It's how Cane's does game day. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. Original chicken fingers of the UNLV Rebels. Go Rebels.
Sign up today for a new William Hill Nevada Mobile Sports account where you can earn up to a $250 bonus bet after placing your first qualifying wager. The William Hill Nevada Mobile Sports app allows you to bet on the go from any iPhone, iPad, or Android device from anywhere in Nevada. Sign up today and you will never miss another bet. With the largest wagering menu, the mobile sports app features same-game parlays, early cash out, and live in-play wagering on all major sports. For more information, official rules, and to see participating sign-up locations, visit williamhill.us. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm in Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly, and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare extra information.
I got a home number for Ray Brewer. I'll send you.
Yeah, thank you. I got a million numbers for Brewer.
Yep, we got the good one. Yep, we got the right one. JT and the Gum Murderer chat coming up. Yes. There we go. Got a little.
Credit. That's on September 30th. We'll buy it and get 1.9%.
All right, I'll forward that to you, Clay.
Financial services visit.
Seems like the Commanders got a couple of players banged up and they're making a couple of moves and
They relied on a rookie left corner, and he's questionable.
I love fantastic. Can I come along?
Sure. If you bring
yeah, Raiders are pretty healthy, man.
Surprisingly. Thank God for it.
It's a lot more fun than shopping online.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just an indicator in Okie.
You know,
my buddy Jim Rome. Tell Romy I said hi.
fantastic.
I like to say, he got it.
All work, no play makes for one boring ass week. Looking forward to the curb with ice cold beer, cocktails, and the best food in town. Voted best happy hour in Las Vegas.
Kevin Iole is a Pirate fan.
God, that's right.
Kevin Iole.
12 to 2 a.m. daily for
You know, I should tell him in the interview. Ray, we were talking about you being a Pirate fan. Is there any chance you can lend me Paul Skeens for my Yankees? Lend him out? Is there a way I could get him? Yeah.
You.
All right, we'll get to this by 5 after. I think it was short. I think we're only 7-8 minutes with him. So,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by the DeCastroverde Law Group. If you get injured in an accident, call 702-222-9999.
Las Vegas Raiders football.
The front for the silver and black. The starter's out there as Locke's looking left out of the shotgun. Pressure on him, throws it out to the corner. Stepped it. But the Raiders looking right the whole way to Lobby. Lobby gets it to the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Las Vegas Raiders. Dylan Lobby. Fans looking like pump face. Is going to go deep down the sideline. That'll be a touchdown. Cedric Jackson for the Las Vegas Raiders. Hand came through, looked off the coverage, hit him coming down the sideline. Chino in the shotgun, looking left and then back right to Dante to a corner fade. He catches it as the end. Touchdown, Las Vegas Raiders. Dante Funk right on the back shoulder, and the Raiders are on the board.
It's your host, JT the Brick.
JT, back with you. NFL Live on ESPN. It's a big deal up there. Jayden Daniels will not go. Does anybody work anymore? Everyone on, they got 5 panelists on ESPN's NFL Live. They're all from home. Anybody go to work anymore? Other than Clay and I, who actually come in the building. I mean, everybody on television is at home on a Zoom. COVID's over. Like, does anybody have to put a tie on and go back to work at these television?
They love to show the bookcases too, the bookshelves of honor, you know, and it's
Yeah,
like
I got a nice one at home too. I like to show up, but I mean, got some of these shows. Everyone on the show is from home.
what happened to it? Like you would get people like on demand, and they would be going into the studio ready to
Budgets.
go.
Budgets. Now they're like, yeah, we can do it at home. No one cares. It really is a big deal. I mean, NFL Network has a show I like, and everyone's just like dressed with like almost a tank top on, growing their hair out and doing it every day. And no one goes in anymore. It's really interesting. So here's what we're going to do. You heard the rejoin here. Ray Brewer is going to join us in about 20 minutes. He is the guru of all things high school sports in town, college. He can do everything. Very talented. He'll join us in 20 minutes. And we're going to get into my conversation with Pete Carroll. But before that, everybody now is putting up numbers here. They just put this up on the screen. Trouble in Vegas. This is the propaganda. I'm going to screenshot it. It says 11th rush tackled at behind the line of scrimmage. 11 of our rushes this year have been tackles behind the line of scrimmage. How is that even possible? 11 times we ran the football and were tackled behind the line of scrimmage. But I think that Chip cleared that up when he said, look, they were running the ball out in New England at the end, just trying to run it, and they were getting blown up behind the line of scrimmage. I don't think that's going to happen in this game. So Ashton Genty, 2.7 yards rushing this season. That's 30th in the NFL. 30th. That's got to get picked up. The Castaverde Law Group is proud partners of the show, and they stepped up to be a partner on the coaches interview. I really want to thank Alex and Orlando Castaverde for doing that. They listen to the show. They're proud partners. And, if you get into an accident, I hope you never do. These are the two, and they're great law group that will help you. Brothers Win, brotherswin.com. Here's my conversation with Pete Carroll. Head coach Pete Carroll joins us. Coach, before we get to the game, happy belated birthday.
It was the home field advantage was there. The noise was there. You saw that they were able to shake them at the line of scrimmage with just the volume of the response by our fans. It was great. And, I just wish we could have given them more to cheer about because they were there for it and they did their part. And if we can have that kind of a factor and continue to grow, it's going to be really a monster playing here.
Two of Gino's turnovers were deep balls. He talked about that after the game at the presser and early today. What'd you see with that and how maybe a check down or a lesser play could do more?
Yeah, he took a shot, and we make a lot of those plays in practice, and I've seen him over the years do well with that. But unfortunately, they kind of mounted up on us, and because they look like he's just throwing the football. Well, he was taking the shot, he threw the ball where it could be caught, and they made a good play on it. Give them credit, but. In retrospect, let's not do that. Let's dump the ball down. But we're going to miss big plays too because of that. Remember the one he threw to Dante last week? The ball he chucked to him and gave him a chance to make a play, and he did. So, he would do anything to not give the ball up. And as he looks at it, he feels the same way we do about that.
You've talked about it's going to take a while to develop this offensive line. I want to start off with the run blocking first, what you saw from the Chargers push and how you get Ashton more carries and get him going.
Yeah, well, we just got to keep bringing him along. You can see he's still learning, and there's he goes the wrong way on a play, and he has a problem on a protection one time. Physically, he's doing really well. Give him the ball and let him run. It looks good, and he started really well, and had an opportunity to have a good night. He will. We're still breaking him in, so for all of the obvious reasons, but he's going to be a big factor for us certainly.
You got Brock ready to go. That was really important. What'd you see with him throughout the game, especially when you got him going in the second half?
We didn't intend to feel our way with him, but I think it just kind of naturally happened, and we didn't go to him. We had some plays, he had some opportunities, but the ball didn't get to him. But as the game got going in the second half, we were talking about, let's go, let's get him going. He's been playing long enough. He looks okay. We're concerned, and but he handled it well, made it through the game, so we should be better this week. But I think there was a little bit of tentative, because we weren't sure if he was going to be able to, hold up because he hadn't done much during the week. But trainers did a great job with him. He was ready to play. He felt confident, and we just needed to just grab onto him a little bit more earlier.
I want to get into what your defense did in both these games in the second half, because I was surprised that Coach Harbaugh didn't punt and went for it on fourth down on that stretch play. You turn it over, you get the ball back with an opportunity to score, and then they fumble. You had two opportunities to score and win the game potentially late in that game. The role of your defense to put you in that position.
Yeah, I think the defense has really been good. I'm really thrilled that this early we're showing the ability to build during the course of the game and build with our mentality and our attack and make things happen. I mean, it really shut teams down in the second half. So that's going to be a big factor for us. They're feeling it. They know that it's coming. And so that's a really good sign. The confidence is there. We can play cleaner. We gave up a 60-yard touchdown on a really easy play to make. And we tried a little bit too hard and tried to see across the route, and Kai lost vision of the corner route. Yeah, but that's not going to happen very often. And we played some other of the same situations really well. But it was a big play in that game. Now, unfortunately, that when it's a game that's that tight, makes a big difference.
As we're talking early in the week, we don't know the status of Jayden Daniels. Mariota's backing him up, but two mobile quarterbacks. And Daniels just had an amazing year last year.
Yes, he did.
You talk about his film study, what you've seen overall, and how explosive he is.
He has the factor, that the quarterbacks that can really scorch you running the ball in his favor, and it gives those teams in third and fourth down a whole nother option that another quarterback might not have. Jayden is a very talented, very natural, gifted player, and he's a big factor. So if he's playing, we know that we're getting the best shot they got. And we know Marcus too. We've all seen Marcus over the years and know that he's a good comparable player for sure. So we'll see what happens. We don't know. We can't worry about that. We got to get ourselves ready.
I was really looking forward to talking to you about Bobby Wagner and your relationship, covering the league as long as I've had. He's one of the greatest linebackers ever. Right. I mean, and you had him, and he's still playing great. What type of player is, human being, your relationship as you go up against him?
Yeah, we had a great time together, and it was a great experience watching him be part of one of the great defenses ever. And he was right in the middle of all of it, calling it, making the plays, leading the charge. He's really one of my favorite all-time guys I've ever been around. Such a great worker, such a great person, a great leader. As he grew into that, he was quiet for the early years of his career, but he grew into the real vocal part of it as well. Very instrumental for Danny's getting that thing started last year. Using Bobby to send the message and stand for the right stuff, because he was always first guy in for last guy out, and just the consummate pro. He had 1,000 tackles or thousands of tackles. He's had each year. And it's amazing consistency and a marvelous job of taking care of his body to last this long, because he didn't miss very many plays, and he won't miss them. He'll fight you to stay out there. So a great competitor, and I love the chance we get to go against him.
Tell us about Dan Quinn, because you told me when we had our first interview, you kept in touch with him the year you were away from football, and that relationship of mentor and how he's developed into a head coach in this league.
Yeah, we're just good friends after all the years we've spent together, and then through the time that he's been the head coach, with a couple different spots, we stayed connected. He was very enthusiastic about the way we did things. He liked the way we talked to the players and the way we treated people, and so he's figured out his own way to incorporate an approach that's comparable. It's similar, and he really inspired that organization this past year with his consistency and his commitment to what he believes in. And they made a great turnaround. And you got to give him a ton of credit for that. So yeah, we stay connected. We share some good off-season work and vacation spots and stuff like that. So we've been very close.
Wrapping it up, it's not your first time going east on a short week, and how you prepared for New England. Now you're right back to a road trip again. The message to your players is they really have to be sharp this week in preparation.
Yeah, well, they already know. They said it in the locker room in post game. That it's going east again, and we know how to do this, and let's get after it. A little bit different schedule because of the Monday night. They're off today, and they'll be in tomorrow. It'll be right on through the week to game time. So at least we have it in our back pocket that we've done it before and we know what that feels like. This will be a little bit unique, but I think we'll kick right into the mode. In the locker room afterwards, so our fans understand, our guys were very optimistic about the future. They weren't all down in the dumps and kicking their lip around. They were ready to get back at it and get back on it and prove that we have something really going here. So couldn't ask for more.
And we'll end on that with the fans. These are the same fans who drove to Foxborough. They can get in the car and drive to
Come on
DC.
down. Come on down. We're just ways down the coast there. We'd like to see him.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
All right, Pete Carroll. That interview took place right before Jayden Daniels didn't go to practice, ruled out. But, Marcus Mariota will be the quarterback going forward. All right, that's brought to you by the DeCastroverde Law Group. Thanks to Alex and Orlando DeCastroverde for their proud partnership. Ray Brewer is one of the most connected guys in Vegas, period, in all sports, especially high school with Bishop Gorman hosting Modern Day. Ray, I wanted to get you on, man, because this game, what it means to Vegas and the national picture. Paint a picture on how important this is tonight.
Well, tickets sold out on Tuesday. So a lot of times you get a high school game here in Vegas, brother, and home side's looking great. The road side, especially with crosstown games, is pretty empty. But this is big time football. USA Today, #1, Bishop Gorman. Modern Day, top 10 nationally everywhere. A lot of talent on the field. It's going to be a fun night on the local gridiron.
Now, tell me, obviously what's at stake nationally here because of Bosco, Gorman, Modern Day, and what Gorman's schedule looked like on the national run early when it came out and where they are tonight.
So Gorman ends up, if they win tonight, Gorman should be the mythical national champion. So it's setting up perfectly for them to be to win their 5th title since 2014 when Tony Sanchez was coach. They beat East St. Louis from Illinois last week, which was a top 25 team. They beat a top 50 team nationally from Utah this season. They traveled to Hawaii. Not easy for college football, especially not easy for high school football, and they smoked Kahuku 39-0. And so if they complete their non-league out-of-state schedule tonight with a win, then all they'd have to do is win the state championship and they'd be national champions.
Yes, and we've seen this happen before. Thanks for explaining it to everyone. Ray Brewer joins us. So what that comes down to is what are the strength of schedules for the California teams, especially in that because Modern Day has a loss already. If Modern Day was able to pull off the upset, I think they're 8th, they couldn't get to the mythical championship.
Well, and that's what makes it fun is it's mythical, right? And which ranking are we going by? Are you taking, like when we grew up, JT, USA Today was chapter and where USA had you, that's where you were. Now Max Prep has come on and they do such a good job aggregating schedules and scores and stats that kind of Max Prep is become, 1A with USA Today. And, I go back to when Gorman won its first national championship in 2014. It was the year when Tony Sanchez went from Gorman to UNLV. And he's like, as long as one of the bowl picks for one, that's all it's going to take because there's thousands of high school football teams. They all theoretically can't play. And you look at a team like Centennial Corona, well, they beat Modern Day. And now do they bunny hop everybody up there? And if they run the table, where do you put them?
Well, if Bosco runs the table, it would include 2 wins over Modern Day, I would assume. What are they going to say about their chance for the championship?
And that's the deal. And where does IMG factor into all that? Right? And I wanted to see IMG against Bishop Gorman forever, and it hasn't happened. Bosco's great. I mean, they're 4-0. They've only given up 3 points all year. They're on fire. They've beaten some tough opponents. St. Francis Academy of Florida. They've got JC or Catholic, Orange Lutheran, Santa Margarita, Servite, St. Louis, Hawaii, and then Modern Day on Halloween, and then the CIF playoffs. So you could argue that once a team like Bosco gets into league play, every week is a tough game like we're going to see tonight, Gorman against Modern Day, where Gorman gets into league play. Football right now in the Valley is on a little bit of a down or JT, and it's just strength of schedule wise, it won't hold up for Gorman.
What I think is very interesting to me is, both my sons went to Gorman. My son was on a state championship team, not a national title team. And I've had you on before, and I've been very critical of Gorman's schedule and how they run up some of the scores in the past, because that's just who I am as a sports talk host. And, the Valley with Liberty and some of the other schools coming on stronger, and hopefully within the state, I want to see schools up north put together better programs overall. Where is Gorman all time with this team, from the Tate Martell championship teams to all the great players that they've had? They got a couple of players, Roma Dunze, Jayden Daniels, several neighbors who are playing in the NFL. Where do you look at this team and say, all time, this is where with Gorman?
I guess we're going to find out tonight, right? They haven't beaten Mater Dei in 4 tries in the Summerlin era Gorman campus. And those teams you talk about in 2014, 2015, and especially that 2016 team when Tate Martell was the National Player of the Year, and Gorman won a 3rd straight mythical national championship. They had like a some game winning streak, which by the way was cracked following the year when DTR was the quarterback against Mater Dei. And those teams had so much hype. Snoop Dogg's kid was wide receiver. You had the National, Player of the Year. There was a reality show about the kid, and there was just a ton of hype around that program, and that maybe clouded how good they were, right? You had the Bubba Boldens and the Alex Perrys, and I think they had like 9 or 10 Pascal Garrett, Ohio State, major D1 guys there.
Awesome. Ray Brewer. Ray, tell us about some of the other power schools here in the Valley and how they're doing in some other matchups.
Rich Morocco has done over at Liberty is nothing short of phenomenal. In 2019, he beat Bishop Gorman, and he's sent some guys to the pros as well. Kainakua, who is Puka's brother, who played for, the Browns. He's got a tight end right now, Molotavo for the Saints. And they've gone out and they've played a national schedule just like Gorman has. Gorman got a Nike sponsorship. Liberty got an Adidas sponsorship. Gorman went and won in Texas. Liberty went and won in Texas. And they're just right there. And if Gorman wasn't there, we'd be having this conversation today about Liberty. And they've done a really fine job. They're 4-1 this year. They're playing a team, Farmington from Hawaii tonight. And they're going to give Gorman a good game. And Gorman wants them to be undefeated going into that game, because when they beat him a few years ago, Coach Browner, after the game from Gorman, was like, we just beat a really good Liberty team. Rich Morocco is a legend. And, of course, he was saying that to make the win look good for the voters for Gorman to win the national championship. The Liberty is a real fine program, and they deserve a lot of praise for what they've done.
Summerlin South Little League lit the torch on Monday Night Football, which is, if you think about that, pretty remarkable, as that's usually said for Pro Football Hall of Famers and the elite former Raiders. We saw Canelo fight, and then turn around, we had Monday Night Football, and UNLV is undefeated, and we know what's going on with the Aces. So, Ray, as long as you've been covering sports in this town, we're pretty much in a hell of a spot here for the programs here, college, academics, pros. It's a great time to be in Vegas, huh?
Yeah, and I'm just real proud because I was born and raised here in 1976. Women's Hospital on Sahara doesn't exist anymore. And if you would have told me, that we would have had a pro football team, I would have said you're crazy. Because I know the odds stacked against Vegas sports betting. If you would have told me, hey, we had a team reach the Little League World Series, I would have said you're crazy, because I watched year after year those Green Valley Little League teams lose to Northern and Southern California. You would have told me we had a team win the Stanley Cup, maybe the best women's basketball player of all time in Asia Wilson. And every weekend, they're just as like, are you going to go to this game? Or, hey, you swing tickets for that game. It's pretty cool to be here, and I just love how the city's grown and our infrastructure. But at the same time, we have this great community feel where we love each other so much, and we're cheering for each other. And Friday nights are still sacred, and we want to see our neighborhood kids do well.
Now, we got a lot of people listening nationally now. How could they catch this game tonight?
You asked me that question. I'm not on tape. I think it might be on ESPN. I'm going to find out. And I'm going to text you.
Yeah, please do.
So you could let everybody know. But who doesn't want to see Chris Henry Jr. the son of the late great Chris Henry, playing wide receiver for Mater Dei, fifth-rated prospect in the nation, going to Ohio State against Chet Washington, Kobe Bryant's nephew, who's a top-rated safety for Gorman, going to Oregon. It is a star-studded night, and everybody wants to see.
Good talking to you, my friend. All the best to you and your family. Thanks for doing this.
All right, brother. Thank you, sir.
You got it, Ray Brewer. Really good. That's good content right there. So Bishop Gorman tonight is in a big spot. They're playing Mater Dei. They've never beaten Mater Dei in the modern Bishop Gorman years. They've never beat this team. And Gorman's got 4 national championships. Some years, as you know, Clay, they don't face each other. Some years you don't face each other. Vegas, Gorman could play Bosco. They could play Mater Dei. They could play other schools here. But Mater Dei has been a problem. And now Gorman's a problem. But Mater Dei is coming in here. They can wreck Gorman's season. Gorman cares about the national championship. They're going to win the state championship. They're the best team by far in the Valley. But they've got to win this game tonight, Clay, and they get it home, and it's sold out.
Yeah, this is like the clash of the Titans. This is something that divides, this region is so strongly because there's such a great hotbed of football talent coming out of both schools. Mm-hmm. But tonight, when you got these two teams, and I see that it'll be streaming up on YouTube, as well as Max Preps, we'll try to get more information for you on where you could watch this game. But there's something on the line for Bishop Gorman. Is all the great accolades that they've had, they have to go and slay this dragon.
Yeah, this is the big one. Bishop Gorman has to beat this team. They beat everybody else. And one thing about Gorman, they'll go play anybody anywhere. But again, I don't like the disparity of power when Gorman is great and they blow out teams by 70 points. I've never been a fan of that because I want the starters out and I want the backups to play in front of their parents. Sound interesting? Like maybe it was me, and my son got to play. Yeah, he played a lot in the state championship, and he was a part of that team. I'm very proud of what he did. Very proud. Because you know why I was proud of my son, and I'm always proud of both my sons. But he was a guy, an offensive lineman, backing up guys who were 300 pounds. And he was like 220 pounds. He wasn't 300 pounds. And he was tough and got in there, and he practiced against all these kids. So he was practicing against all Americans. And, you take a beating at practice when you're playing the best players in the country in high school, and he stuck it out. And when I was sitting in the Silver Bowl and they won the state championship and I came on the field after that, it's one of the prize photos of my life with my son, who towered over me at that point and still does. So exciting for this game tonight, and we'll see how this plays out. We got a lot more to get to. So here's what I've done. I've cleared out everything. 30 minutes of hell. 30 minutes of Raider fans. Let's get in here. It's Raiders roll call. Where are you calling in from? Where are you? I want to hear from some fans nationally. And if you're looking for a new SUV, we got to tell you about the 2025 Volvo XC60. The midsize was awarded a 5-star safety rating. When I talked to Mike over at Findlay Volvo 215 in Rainbow, and he's walking me through the beautiful dealership, showing me these cars. Safety, safety, safety. That's why you get a Volvo. The cars are as good as any car you've ever driven, but the fact that they're safe is the key. You can lease or finance. Pick out one of their great deals. Lease a Volvo XC90 all-wheel drive SUV for $559 for 33 months with only $29.95 down. And if you don't want to buy a lease and you want to buy, you can get great financing. Rates have gone down. The rates are really good. APR financing as low as 3.49 for qualified buyers through Volvo Financial Services. Thanks to Mike. Head on out to 215 in Rainbow. Just get off. It's right there. Test drive a car. I guarantee you'll love it. 702-365-9200. Q's coming up at the top of the hour. Let's set the tone for his show. Give me the final score of the game. Marcus Mariota is starting, not Jayden Daniels. I'll give you mine, where I think the score will end up. Thank you, everybody. I will see you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to be off for a couple days, and then Sunday, Raiders pregame show. Man, we got 1,000 people in here. That's a record. Let me get a photo of that. 1,000 people. 1,000 people, man. Appreciate that. So thank you very much. And we want to thank you all and hope you all have a great weekend, man. Please subscribe. If you're in here, please hit subscribe. Please do it today.